Anyway, let's get right to it. There's a lot of stuff happening. We've got the stock market is preparing to go way, 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 way down, and I think that's a temporary blip. Oil prices are coming down. That's actually a good thing. And coronavirus, well, the number of cases is increasing, but we're getting some good information that tells us that not everybody is at a huge risk. So we've got a lot going on. And I want to bring on Jenna Ellis. She's the senior legal advisor to Donald Trump 2020. And you can follow her at Jenna Ellis-esque on Twitter. Jenna, how are you on this very busy morning?
Good morning. It's always a great Monday, and thanks so much for having me.
Well, I'm glad to have you. Before we get to some other stuff, because there's a lot of things we want to talk about, I want to talk to you about how Donald Trump is confronting the news media about fake news, and he's doing it in kind of a uniquely legal way.
Yeah, the Trump campaign has now filed 3 lawsuits against the New York Times, the Washington Post, and CNN for false statements that they published, and we're suing them for those false statements. And unfortunately, the fake news has always had this overarching bias against Donald Trump and the campaign, and we know that, and that's unfortunate. And we're certainly happy to confront anyone's opinions, of course, and that's part of freedom of the press. But what's not part of protected speech is actually knowingly false and defamatory statements, and that's what these 3 outlets have done. And so we are suing them because they've refused to retract those statements. And in particular, CNN was the last suit that we just filed last week, and there was an article that they claimed, and they actually published, that the campaign, quote, assessed the potential risks and benefits of again seeking Russia's help in 2020 and has decided to leave that option on the table, unquote. Well, that's absolutely false. CNN knew it was false at the time of publication, yet they published it anyway and misled their readers. And we, in fact, actually asked them to retract. They refused. So we were left with no alternative but to file a lawsuit.
Defamation is one of the hardest causes of action to win. I won a multi-million-dollar defamation verdict for a plaintiff. I defended Ben Shapiro successfully when Clockboy sued him over allegedly defamatory statements that were, of course, nothing of the kind. How do you? What's the venue? That is, what court are you in, and how do you see this litigation going?
Well, we have a really great lead attorney. Charles Harder is actually the lead attorney, and he's an expert in this area. He's, in fact, the one who successfully sued Gawker.
He's a Los Angeles guy.
Yeah, and also represented our wonderful First Lady, Melania Trump, and won a suit for her that was, false and defamatory statements from another publication. So, this isn't his first rodeo. He's been around the block. He knows what he's doing. And we're very confident that these 3 suits will be successful. And the venues, of course, are different because the publications are different. And so there's the federal district courts in New York, D.C., and Georgia are the specific venues. And you can find the complaints online. Definitely follow Team Trump at Team Trump on Twitter, and you can find all of those complaints if you're a lawyer and you're nerds like us who like to actually read these complaints.
I only read if I'm billing. I got to be billing, otherwise I'm not doing a law. After 25 years, it stopped being fun.
Oh, that's sad. That's sad. You got to go back and love it. I'm sure you've read at least the complaints. These are only a couple pages. They're actually worthwhile.
I think they probably are, and it's always interesting as a lawyer to talk to non-lawyers about defamation law. And people don't understand. It's a very hard cause of action to win, as it should be, but it is possible to win it. Now, here's the thing. Is this a way we want to go? That is, do we want to be confronting the news media, not just by telling the truth, which the president does on Twitter, but do you have any concerns about using the legal system to address media malpractice.
Not at all. In fact, that's precisely what this specific defamation law is there for. When the fake news media has been so severely harmful, and they have so misled their readers, and they have acted with actual malice, which of course is the legal standard against a public figure, which the campaign is.
Yes.
And of course, this is the campaign, not the president, by the way. That's a very important distinction. It's the campaign that's filing these suits. This isn't going to have a chilling effect on the freedom of the press or on the First Amendment. I mean, this isn't anything that we're going after anyone's opinion or protected speech. This is precisely what the law is there for, to make sure that you can't publish knowingly false statements that intentionally target the campaign or any type of public figure. That's not protected speech. That's why the law is there. And, if a side benefit of this is that the news media actually acts with fairness and acts with truthiness, as Ben Shapiro would say, that's a really good thing, actually. But this is something that we filed the lawsuits because we want to publicly establish the truth. We want to properly inform readers and the rest of the world of the true facts, and also seek appropriate remedies for the harm caused. And we've been left with no alternative but to file these suits. And again, that's exactly why petitioning the government for redress of grievances is also a protected constitutional right in our law.
Right now, Donald Trump is being accused in the media and by other politicians, directly and indirectly, of being responsible for the spread of the coronavirus. It's irresponsible and it's kind of dumb. Do you see any kind of legal remedy for that, or is this just part of debate and should be handled as debate?
Well, I mean, of course, that is completely fake, and there are some people that are going to more extreme than others by actually blaming him for the start of the virus or the spread of the virus. I mean, it's completely ridiculous, and that's something that's a great question, and I think those things have to, of course, be carefully analyzed. But what we can do is definitely continue to tell the truth, and the campaign will continue to do that. The administration has done that incredibly well. Vice President Mike Pence, Secretary Azar, the president himself, they have been very, very much on top of this. They continue to share the truth, and it's a responsibility of the media. We can debate all day whether or not we like the administration, whether or not we're going to vote for Trump. All of those things are perfectly debatable issues, but the fake news media should not spread intentionally false information, and they should not use the coronavirus issue to spread fear or panic just in order to politicize the issue. That's something that's actually irresponsible, and it's frankly detrimental to the health, safety, and welfare of the American people.
I think you're absolutely right, Jenna Ellis, senior legal advisor to Trump 2020. And I tend to agree with you that the proper response to this political nonsense is more debate. We've seen the president jump on Twitter today, going directly to the American people. One last question. We only have about 30 seconds. How do you see this election playing out?
Oh, President Trump is definitely winning in a landslide. We all have to come out and vote, though. Make sure that you get out and vote. But you can see the love at the rallies. You can see how many people have turned out in primaries that are uncontested for this incumbent president. And
well,
so it's absolutely amazing. He's going to win. We're very confident.
Thank you, Jenna Ellis. This is Kurt Schlichter. Stick around. We got a lot more on the Hugh Hewitt program.
Portions of the Hugh Hewitt